In this episode, we're going to talk with Henri Gates about his experience in songwriting, publishing, and adventures on Broadway. So, hey, Henry, how's it going?
What's going on? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, anytime. So, I can't remember exactly how we met, but maybe through the Headrush group or
It was the
something.
Head Rush group on Facebook. Yeah.
Okay, great. And when I learned about you, writing songs and playing down on Broadway, that's like a whole nother world I never really got into. I've been in Tennessee for about 20, yeah, it's about 20 years.
Oh wow.
And went to school at MTSU and graduated from there and just kind of stuck around after graduation. But I never really got into the Broadway scene. So kind of talk us through about your musical beginnings. We'll just start from there.
Cool. Yeah. So I actually started playing guitar when I lived in China for 5 years. Growing up, I was fourth grade to eighth grade, I think, and not a lot of friends that spoke English, obviously. So my parents got me an acoustic guitar, and first they had to make me practice, and after about a year, they had to make me stop playing because I wouldn't come eat dinner. I was just once I got my electric and had some good sounds. I had my dad's Eagles and these classic rock compilation CDs, and that's kind of what I grew up on and what I really like. But that's how I started, and I'm mostly self-taught until I got to college. I went to College of Charleston and minored in jazz guitar,
Great.
and
Cool.
met my girlfriend Cassie, and we've had a band together called Saluda Shoals for about 6 years now, playing all around, based in Charleston, South Carolina, but playing around South Carolina, North Carolina, and Georgia. And we decided, I guess a couple years ago, that we needed to be in Nashville, and we happened to move the day that coronavirus shut everything down. So we got here and we were like, "Where's the music? What just happened?" But
Mm-hmm.
so it's been a crazy year, but happy to be here. And Broadway is a completely different ball game for sure. But we're doing that on the side and doing a lot of writing sessions and writer showcases. So that's kind of our year in a nutshell. Besides hunkering down and wearing masks.
So you really didn't experience like, or did you? Like, was Broadway even that busy?
When we visited before we moved, we got to see how busy
Okay.
it was, but we
It
haven't.
can be pretty crazy
It
down
can
there.
be nuts, but we actually haven't been playing since it's been shut down. So
Right.
it's been a little bit of a downer, but it's still getting out there. And as far as the music side goes, I feel like it's almost a good time because we've gotten to meet these great musicians, gotten to learn, and kind of you know a lot of people sadly had to leave town because the
Right.
virus hit, and so we kind of got in right away. Playing on the Tootsie Circuit, Legend Circuit, Old Red, bouncing around, and it's been good to get that experience and get that I want to call it training.
Oh yeah.
Just to play with other musicians and learn stuff on the fly. And you never heard the song, but if they throw $20 in the tip jar, you better play it for them. So
Right. Right.
just it's a wild ride, but it's fun. We're called Saluda Shoals. You can find us at saludashoalsband.com or on Instagram or iTunes, Spotify. We have our original
Yeah.
stuff up there. But yeah, she sings and I sing and play guitar. And I'll be honest, I thought I was a lead player, and then I came here and met these guys on Broadway, and I was like, no, you guys, y'all do the solos. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
play. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna sing and play rhythm. So
I'm the exact same way. I'm more of like a blues rock kind
yeah,
of solo player. But I mean, I can't do chicken picking.
I
I've
can't
never
either.
been able to do any kind of country stuff. So yeah, I'm like you. Like just tell me the number chart, and I'll bang out those rhythms like nobody else.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
and sometimes I mean that's all you can do. You
Yeah,
just do what you're comfortable with, and as you learn and grow, I mean, I assume by even being in the same room as some of these amazing players, you kind of learn some stuff off of them, and
I picked up a few things from these guys. Some of them are 10 years younger than me, but they are good players.
oh
So,
yeah,
but like I said, I'm a lead singer first, so I've got to kind of I've got a lot on my plate anyways with trying to
right.
entertain the crowd. So I don't need to be the one trying to play anything crazy.
So tell me about how to even get started on Broadway. How does that even work?
So we were fortunate enough to have a friend, Greg Chapman, who's a great musician down there, and he is also from Charleston, South Carolina. And I guess he had seen us play in Charleston, and when he saw that we posted on Facebook and Instagram that we were moving, he sent us a message and said, "Hey, I can get you on the Tootsie circuit." And he was on it at the time. He's moved on to some other things since then. But that's just a good foot in the door for people starting out. It can be a pain sometimes with everything you have to deal with. But it is a good way to get in. And we were fortunate enough to jump right in once things reopened.
Yeah.
We started playing acoustic shows, just me and Cassie, and that was kind of our bread and butter down in Charleston because most places outside of Nashville, they have acoustic bands during the week. So we always did acoustic during the week and then the full band on the weekends. But being here, it's nice to be able to do the full band any day of the week.
No, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I think I spoke with some other people that play down there, and doesn't Tootsie's own a lot of the bars along that strip right there?
So that was a good thing. Once it opened up, we were playing 7 days a week. We had to slow it down because our voices were going out. But it's, there's 3 stages at Tootsie's, 3 stages at Rippy's, 3 stages at Honky Tonk Central, and 4 stages at Kid Rock's.
Wow.
And it's all the same booking agents.
Are they on different levels too? Is that
Yeah.
why you can have so many different stages?
Yep, each floor has its own stage. It's wild.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a whole different ball game to get up and you get up at 8 in the morning because you have a 10 a.m. show at Tootsie's, on a Monday. It's a cool thing, and
do people? I mean, people are there, right?
people are there. Yeah, it's a tourist town, and there's definitely going to be people here. And we found out this fall, especially for these NFL games when the Titans are playing in town. Man, everybody comes from all around.
Especially if they keep winning.
Yeah, exactly.
Please keep winning. Just keep going.
Please keep winning. Yeah.
So give me like a typical day for you.
The weird thing about booking on Broadway is that it seems to be a week-to-week thing. So on Monday, we get our schedule for Tuesday through Sunday.
Okay.
And it's just, it's kind of fast-paced. It's hard to plan out far ahead because everything's going to come at you in a short amount of time. But, you might play 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., you might play 2 to 6 or 6 to 10, and there's usually that 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. slot, but that's shut down right now.
Yeah.
So that takes a lot of gigs away. But a typical day, if we have a gig, we get ready, and if it's a morning show, then we try to go to one of the writers' rounds afterwards. We've been doing a lot at Belcourt Taps, Alley Taps, the local Live Oak. We did Live Oak Monday night. That's a great writer's round, primetime 615. And other than that, it's just go into those, even if you're not playing and networking, and just asking random people that you heard play. And if you like their stuff, say, hey, do you want to set up a write? And if they want to, you put it in your calendar. And this whole week, if I didn't have a gig, I've been writing every day with somebody new. So
that's great.
That's really cool.
So what's the goal behind the writing at this point? Is it like trying to get a cut on an album for somebody more famous, or what does that work out for you?
Yeah, Cassie and I, we're always going to want to play our songs, but the goal, I think, is to write with other people and get your name out there on the publishing side. Mm-hmm. And I've been fortunate enough so far to write with several people that have publishing deals and actually go into the publishing company once and sit down in the office and write, and that was a really cool experience.
That's cool.
And so that's what you kind of want to do to get your songs cut by an artist that already is established.
Right.
And then
I hate to say a famous artist because like fame is so, whatever, but like established is a lot,
Yeah. Yeah, and these people that, it's hard for us right now just moving here to get the funds to go in the studio and put out our own stuff, but if we can get some other people to pick up some songs,
right,
then let them do it, and you can always write more songs. So
right, yeah.
Don't see any problem with it.
I mean, sometimes the songwriter makes more money than the actual artist does.
Very true.
Is it not?
Very true, yeah.
And you don't have to worry about going on the road and trying to support the album. It's like they can do all that, and you can just stay at home and just, all right, where's my royalty check?
Yeah, that's what they call mailbox money, and I'm looking forward to it one day.
Right, exactly. Are y'all signed up through ASCAP or BMI?
I'm with BMI, and Cassie's with ASCAP, just so we kind of covered 2 different sides.
Okay.
But I haven't really had any need to reach out to them too much, but I have their app and everything and put all the songs that I write up there. And so it's good. I got a little catalog of stuff I've written myself and then co-writes and stuff. Mm-hmm. And co-writing's totally different. Back in Charleston, I pretty much wrote by myself, and Cassie and I wrote together sometimes. But here it's, everybody wants to write with each other, and it's kind of cool. It's a little community of people that, hey, you got ideas, I got ideas, let's see, it builds on each other. And that's a really cool thing.
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, I think I'm in BMI right now with the band I used to be in.
Yeah.
And we still get checks every quarter, so it's cool because we were in a movie that had like 3 songs in it.
Nice.
And we should be in another movie that got slowed down because of COVID, but I think it's now in the back end of trying to finish everything up and get released.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the name of it is, but I'm like, I don't care. Our music is in it. So
Absolutely. And anybody out there, if you have any songs that are getting any kind of airtime, Make sure you do BMI or ASCAP. But also, Sound Exchange is another thing that people miss, and that's where you're going to get some royalties. So don't let those slip away.
Yeah, so let's go into those aspects. So first of all, like, is there a huge difference between like ASCAP and BMI?
Not that I know of. I know my buddy was with BMI and he switched to ASCAP because he just said the representative that he was working with, I don't know, somehow he ended up getting more help through ASCAP. It was more of a personable experience.
Sure.
And, maybe one day I'll encounter that, but I really haven't had any need to sit down with a BMI rep or anything like that at this point. And they've been nothing but good to me. So
that's good. Yeah.
I'm happy with BMI.
Yeah, because they both do basically the same thing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And talk about Sound Exchange and exactly what they do, as far as you know.
As far as I know. And I feel like even people that run the industry don't know exactly what's happening with all this either.
Right.
But as far as I know, Sound Exchange pays quarterly. If you go through TuneCore or CD Baby and put your music on iTunes and Spotify, then you're going to get money from that monthly, and you can go into your account and withdraw that. Sound Exchange is going to be where you're getting your writing royalties and where you can get publishing royalties, and that's paid out quarterly. So if you have any kind of radio play, or it might even apply to, if your song pops up on someone else's Pandora station, I'm not totally sure how Pandora works, but I believe Sound Exchange is more kind of just the radio side. It's not like, someone went and played your song specifically.
Right, right.
A little hazy on that. I need to touch up on it, but I believe that's what it is. I just
the same with Spotify and iTunes and everything else.
Yeah, that's just going to be, you get paid for that stream through the service, either TuneCore or CD Baby. But the writers' royalties from those plays and stuff are going to be through Sound Exchange.
Okay, so if you're not signed up with Sound Exchange,
you need to do that. Yes.
As an artist, do that like yesterday.
Exactly. Yeah, because you're going to get, just like if you sold a song on iTunes or bought a song on iTunes, that's kind of the way it is with a stream now. You get like whatever, a tiny 0.3 cents or something like that for the stream. But then as the writer, that's what the band is getting for having that song out there. But then that doesn't count for the writer. So if you wrote that song, then you need to sign up for Sound Exchange, and you can get writers credits and writers royalties for that as well.
Okay. Is it a one-time fee? How does that work? Yearly fee?
I don't remember if there was any fee at all, or it might be a one-time fee.
Okay.
I would have to look into that. It's been several years since I did it, but I know it was just a one-time thing because it's not a lot of money, but every quarter I get a little bit of money from that, and it's been going on for about 5 or 6 years. So
right.
Yeah.
And I think when I looked into because I do a lot of stuff through DistroKid.
Okay.
But CD Baby, they have like a CD Baby Pro now.
Okay.
That it's kind of like Sound Exchange. It sounds like they kind of go the extra mile of collecting other royalties that maybe DistroKid, or not DistroKid, but like Spotify and Apple Music doesn't pay out or something. So it's kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah. And again, if anybody out there, if I'm saying anything wrong, please send us a message and correct me. But as far as I understand, you click on a Apple Play, you get paid. The band gets paid for that stream, but the writers still deserve their writing royalties and stuff. So that's where the Sound Exchange comes in, stuff like that.
And the writer is the one that go in to sign up for Sound Exchange.
Yes. And then you can, if it's all independent, you can also sign up as the publisher and get the publisher's credits too.
Okay.
So
that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I took it was really weird, my degree from MTSU, because it was called music industry. I'll say like quotes, music industry. Because the industry keeps changing. So it's what I learned 20 years ago is nothing.
Yeah.
There's still some aspects there, but it's it's always, we didn't have streaming back then.
Yeah.
People were all about, I took digital marketing I took marketing of recordings class.
Yeah.
Which is still dealing with CDs.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I didn't graduate all that long ago, but I don't know if you guys know, but like Hootie and the Blowfish is one of the biggest bands from South Carolina.
Oh yeah.
And so Mark Bryan, the guitarist, actually taught my music business class at College of Charleston.
Wow.
And he's a really cool guy. But yeah, by the time I took that class 1 year, and a couple years later, everything was completely changed with the way things had, streaming. It was, you buy songs on iTunes, and then a few years later, it's all just streaming and stuff. So
right. I guess the income is coming from like the people paying monthly subscriptions
Yeah.
and advertisement,
Yeah.
possibly,
Yeah, basically.
from all that.
That's what I understand.
Okay. So, how many albums do you have put together at this point?
So I used to be with a band called Southwood, and my buddy Mitchell Lee and I did all the writing. That was back when we were in college, and that's actually still streaming a lot. And you can
Okay.
find that on iTunes and Spotify and stuff. We put out 2 EPs, and then Cassie and I with with Saluda Shoals, we have an EP, and then we have 2 singles.
Okay.
And it just seems the way everything's going now, unless you have the capital behind you to do a full length, people want instant gratification, so it's almost better to do an EP or a few singles.
Yeah.
So the whole model of the record has changed. What an album is.
Yeah.
So but yeah, make sure you check us out on iTunes and Spotify and be our friend on Facebook and Instagram. And
Yeah, I'll
everything.
be sure to, in the show notes, I'll be sure to put all the links
Yeah,
in
yeah,
there so people
cool.
can check it out. That's another aspect that, during this whole changing of the industry is let's talk about, full-length albums versus EPs versus singles and how often you should release them, stuff like
Yeah.
that. So, obviously, like you just said, doing a full-length album, kind of not that different from an EP.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just more songs.
yeah,
But if you can do an EP, then you can do a full album if you have the material there to do it.
yeah,
And let's say an EP takes you, I don't know, let's just say 6 months.
yeah,
I don't know why it take that long, but let's just say 6 months to
Yeah.
do it. Well, if you did 2 of those a year, well, that's basically the same as a full-length album, right?
yeah.
But on the other end, people don't really listen to full-length albums anymore. They want singles. So
Exactly. Yeah, and that's the catch-22 right there, because it depends on what you're going for. And I totally respect musicians that are putting the music out for themselves. But if you want to do a full-length album for yourself, that's great. But if you're actually going for radio play, they want those singles that that's going to hit the charts. That's what they want, and it's going to probably be gone after 2 or 3 months. Something else is
Right.
going to come take over. So if you look at some of these artists that are at the top now, Luke Combs and Hardy and Morgan Wallen, even during the pandemic, they're putting out a single maybe every 2 months, and then they're hitting the charts, and it's got a lot of plays, and then the next one comes in. But I think Morgan Wallen is putting out a full length, which is impressive. But I don't know, just for us and being on a budget, it seems to make sense to do some singles to get some more recognition, and then
yeah.
maybe one glorious day somebody will be like, yeah, just do a full length album, we'll pay for it, and
Right.
Well,
Well, I can see at this point, I can see doing a single maybe like once every 2 months or maybe once a quarter or whatever.
Yeah,
Then after a year or so, or however long it takes to accumulate any number of
Yeah.
singles, then you could take all those singles that are public tested,
yeah,
pretty much. Like like which song is doing better than others. Then you just take just the best songs and put them on in like an EP form or a
Exactly.
full album form.
Yeah.
And
and I think that's kind of the goal, is to do, hopefully by the spring, do a single, and then maybe by the summer do a 5 or 6 song EP, and then kind of keep that going, 1 or 2 singles, then an EP or something like that.
yeah.
And maybe one day we'll do a full length album, but it's not really a priority right now.
Right. And I don't think the mindset like you have to do full length albums anymore, really.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love like listening to Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon from start to finish,
Right.
but that was its own thing, that entire album. And if you just have a collection of songs and they don't flow one into the other like that, then it doesn't seem to make sense not to separate them.
So it's almost like you can test the waters
Yeah,
of the market
yeah,
with the singles and then kind of see which songs have a better vibe, or especially if you're a young artist that don't really know your sound.
yeah.
Yeah, you can experiment with different singles.
Exactly, yeah, and that's kind of the beauty of doing singles or even EPs, is that you can have, release something that's a little more country, release something that's a little more classic rock, bluesy, or whatever, and
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter.
So what do you think your sound is?
That's the hardest question to answer. So I grew up on Tom Petty, CCR, just that, Southern rock kind of classic rock sound. I kind of write for anything, depending on the mood. And that's one of the reasons I love writing, is I can sit in a room with somebody and they're like, well, I have this pop song, or, even R&B songs. I've had a rapper ask me to write a chorus for him, and that was really fun. And
Oh
so
yeah.
it's kind of writing is its own thing. But as far as what we're putting out, we're we're classifying it as country because it's not hard rock. It's not really your mainstream pop right now. So it's not R&B. So country is really, I feel like what I considered rock and roll, like Tom Petty and that kind of stuff,
Hmm.
has evolved into country as far as the way guitars sound and stuff, which is what I like. So
Right.
that's kind of why I consider us country, even though we're not like your typical mainstream radio country band.
Yeah. Because it's kind of hard to define different genres.
Yeah,
Because if you had a song, but it didn't have like a fiddle or a
yeah,
pedal steel in it, could it be considered a rock song?
oh
I
yeah,
mean, you know what I mean? So it's like, as long as the instrumentation is there to define the overall sound, I
exactly.
mean, the songs can kind of go either way. That's why you have like crossover
Yeah,
hits
and
of
we've never used fiddle in
whatever.
any of our stuff. And if you listen to some of like the Jason Aldean stuff, that just sounds like '90s hard rock. So
Right,
it's just he's got a twang on his voice, so they call it country. But
right, right.
so yeah, we kind of, I guess we'd fit into like a if Southern rock was still a thing, that would probably be most accurate. But we
Yeah,
do a lot of with Cassie on the vocals, a lot of Fleetwood Mac kind of harmonies. We try to go that do that kind of stuff.
nah, that's cool. Yeah, it's just hard defining certain sounds because it could really go so many different ways.
Yeah, and especially being the artist yourself, and you write all these songs, and there's so many songs that are sort of this genre, sort of this genre. It's almost easier to ask someone else to tell you what genre you are than to try to figure it out yourself.
Right. So far in this town, what are the kind of writers that you work with?
I've been writing with a guy named Ryan Garrett with Porchlight Music, and I actually have a write with him tomorrow, so that's going to be really cool. And a lot of it, I love the music community. It's almost like a class in summer camp or something. Like everybody that showed up at the same time ends up being at the same writers rounds and stuff. They're kind of on the
Hmm.
same level, and you kind of find your clique and your group that is trying to get to the same place as you are, so you end up writing with them. So we've met a lot of people that are just like us, trying to find publishing deals. And Belcourt Taps, Alley Taps, those are great places for people to get started. They have open mics, and then they have the writers rounds once you've proven yourself at the open mic. And so yeah, just honestly, I'm writing with anybody I can right now. Just if I hear somebody and I like their music, then I'm gonna ask them what they want to write.
So do you enjoy the lyrical side or the music side? Which one are you better at?
I am better. I would say I'm better at the lyric side, and that might be because my dad is an English teacher. So
Yeah,
just I like playing with words and trying to be creative with meanings and everything like that, and just making things fit and rhyme, but not be like how now cow like
yeah. It doesn't have
you
to
know
be a hard rhyme, you
yeah,
know.
yeah, just trying to make something flow. And I think one of the biggest things is just write it how you would say it to somebody, and that's what's going to be catchy. So I try to do that.
That's cool.
And I feel like I'm good at writing a hook. That's kind of one of my strong points, which is great. But then I have this cool hook, and then I don't have a story around it. So
Right.
that's when I call up some people. I'm like, all right, what's this about? But yeah.
So you like starting with the, I mean, would you call it a chorus, I guess?
Yeah,
Or
yeah, just some catchy line, and I don't want anyone to ever hear the horrible things in my phone's voice memos, because it's me driving around like hollering something
oh
off
yeah.
key into my phone. But just some little idea I got to get down while I'm driving or something, and
Hmm.
just to get it down, and then go home and see if I can make something out of it.
That's cool. What is the most interesting story you've told through song?
Oh man, well they're depressing probably. um,
Well, all the good ones are, you know.
Yeah, I guess one, and I've never released this song. I don't really play it much unless someone asks me to. But it's a song called "Dear Mother," and I wrote it after having a chat with my buddy who was deployed overseas, and it was just a song about a soldier who he's there to fight for his country, but he doesn't know why he's there. It's like a letter home kind of thing.
Hmm.
and it just I don't know. It's just a song about, you know, those people were so brave and, you know, representing our country so well, but maybe there's no need for them to be over there, you know, risking their lives and everything. So
Right. Yeah, the reason why I asked that, I mean, I think of like a lot of Brad Paisley songs that have some can be kind of quirky, but some can be like kind of deep and
yeah,
meaningful.
hmm
So, what artist that's currently out there that you would like to write with?
man, that would have to be Chris Stapleton, hands down,
Oh
because
yeah,
I just love his style and the fact that I guess he was in Nashville before he was on the radio himself. He had a band called Johnson Brothers, which most people haven't heard of, and it's just 90s rock with Chris Stapleton singing. It's amazing.
wow.
But before that,
Did he have the beard and the long hair and all
I
that?
don't know. I have to. I can't really picture him without the beard, so I think so.
Yeah.
But he was known for just being somebody that was writing all the time with everybody. Like he was just running around to every publishing company, writing with everybody he possibly could, and you know, he was written songs for. He wrote Drink a Beer for Luke Bryan. I think it was Luke Bryan. He's just written so many songs for so many artists that, you know, most people don't even know it was a Chris Stapleton song, but it was. And
Right.
so that's just impressive in my mind that he was under the radar, but he was this driving force behind popular country music for a few years there. So
Yeah, that's really cool.
yeah.
Have you heard? There's a guy up there, Eric Paslay.
Yes.
Have you heard of him?
Yes.
So I went to MTSU with him, and right after I moved to Nashville, I lived in Murfreesboro for like a year or two before I moved to Nashville. Then I moved here to Smyrna. But it was me and him and like three other roommates. We all roomed together in his
Yeah.
apartment. And at the time, he had a Cal 4 publishing deal,
Okay.
writing for like Rascal Flatts and
Wow.
all kinds of people. I'd say he would be a good guy to hook up with. He's really cool.
Yeah, that'd be great. I've heard some of his music and heard a lot about him, but I didn't know he was a writer. You know,
Oh yeah,
I feel like I found out
long time.
most of these artists that you hear on the radio, they finally break through on the radio, but before that, they're writers, and
Right.
I respect that so much.
I think his strong suit is really his voice. Like he just
Oh,
has
yeah.
a very recognizable voice.
Yeah,
But then you pair that with great songwriting. It's just
yeah,
wow. It's good.
yeah. And yeah, he's fantastic. And another one that I would love to write with is Jason Isbell, because his songs are just so honest, and
Yeah.
he's just fantastic.
I can't really say I've gotten into his music a whole lot.
hmm
Probably should. I just never really got into it. You know.
Yeah, he's definitely someone. If you've got some time, give it a listen.
What's an album I should start with Jason Isbell?
Oh shoot, I gotta look up the album names. I'm bad with album names.
Because let me tell you this is my goal this year, at least once a month, if not like maybe once every 2 weeks, just to sit down on my comfortable couch right here. I got, obviously the studio monitor, so I got great sound in here, and just throw on a record and just listen to it from like start to finish.
Yeah,
Because I mean, we really don't listen to music a whole lot. I'm a big podcast guy. I'll listen to like all kinds of podcasts and
Yeah.
whatever else, but like it's very rare I just really listen to music.
yeah,
Unless I turn to like, like a local radio or whatever that is.
yeah. And I would say, as far as his albums go, I kind of got started on listening to Jason Isbell when it was he had the Nashville Sound, but Southeastern was the first one in 2013,
Okay.
and then Nashville Sound was 2017. But honestly, man, I would listen to Live from the Ryman that he put out in 2018. That
Okay.
it's got all the hits, and he's just so good live. It's
All
like
the
the
hits.
record, but better because it's live. So,
Yeah. Well, that's fun. I know he played at I want to say he played at the Mercy Lounge. I'm sure he's played at multiple venues throughout
Yeah.
the years, but have you heard of that place?
No,
Mercy
I'm
Lounge?
still getting my bearings here in Nashville, so
Okay.
I haven't heard of the Mercy Lounge.
It's down off of 8th Avenue. Like the Circle downtown?
Oh, yeah.
Off of Korean Vets.
Yes.
So you go around the circle, keep going, and that's 8th Avenue.
Okay.
And then the Mercy Lounge is up, they call it the Cannery.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So you
Okay.
got Cannery Ballroom on the first floor. Then upstairs you have Mercy Lounge, Then across the hallway, you have the High Watt.
Yes,
So it's
okay.
really 3 venues in one building.
Yes, and there's actually a wedding venue there because my buddy
Yep.
got married there actually.
Yep.
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, the Cannery Ballroom, that's where Treva, the other girl up there on my shelf,
Yeah.
that's where I met my wife.
Oh, okay. That's
Is
awesome.
at the Cannery. So
That's awesome. I'll definitely have to check that out. There's so many venues that I haven't even been able to go to. I'm not sure what's open. I think things are slowly starting to open, but
yeah.
it's been sad to see all these empty venues.
Well, I'm not really sure the status right now with everything going on, but usually on Monday nights, I think it's once a week, they have a thing called 8 off 8th.
Okay.
They choose 8 bands or duos or single, whoever they are, 8 artists,
Yeah.
and each person gets up and just plays 2 songs, and they just go through the night. So you might be the last, you might be in the middle.
And that's at Mercy Lounge?
Yeah, Mercy Lounge. It's called 8 off 8th, and that might be a good place to showcase a few songs.
Yeah, I'm gonna put that down right now.
I'm sure, like the listening room. Have you been to the listening room?
I saw a show there. It was fantastic. I haven't played that one yet. We've done the Freak Show at the local, and on this next coming Tuesday, we'll be at Porch Light Pickers. That's
Okay.
also at the local. What are some of the other ones we've done? I think I mentioned Live Oak. They have Primetime 615. Been doing that writers round,
Yeah.
and really just anywhere we can find and reach out to. Some stuff at the Tin Roof on De Montbriand. They do
Yeah.
Revival and they do Bus Call. So we got a Bus Call date coming up this month. I can't remember the date, but
Okay.
that'll be on our website for people to check out.
Like Douglas Corner. You do like Douglas Corner,
Man,
stuff like that.
when I visited when I was 19, my grandparents took me to Douglas Corner. It was one of the few places I could get in, being underage. And I got
Right.
up there. They let me get up there and jam. It was some kind of Monday jam. And everyone was so good. And I found out it was actually Reba McEntire's band. And they just did it when they were off tour. They just had fun.
There you go.
And I got to jam with them. And it's really sad that Douglas Corner shut down. But
Oh, do they?
yeah, they
Wow.
lasted a month or two into the pandemic and they were gone. So
Wow.
yeah, this pandemic has hit the music industry really hard.
I just wonder how you bounce back from something like that. I mean, do they just give up the rent on the location? And I don't know.
I really do not know either. I know some people that were renting out houses, or sorry, they owned houses that they were doing Airbnb with, but they were renting a house here. They had to give up their house here and move into their Airbnb house because,
Right.
you got a mortgage or you got a rent. The mortgage is more important. So
Right.
it's just been a very strange year.
That is crazy. All right. Well, let's talk about gear.
Yeah, I like it. You know a lot more than I do, but I'll try to keep up.
I'm a gear guy. Well, let's just start off with like your guitars. I mean, what's your axe that you throw around?
I like changing it up, and I feel like I have a lot of pretty good guitars. I need to, maybe sell a couple and get a really nice guitar. But for what I do, I'm happy with it, and I like the flexibility and
Yeah.
the fun in picking up a different guitar every time if I want to. But I have 2 tellies. I got a road worn Telecaster,
Those are great.
and I like that one a lot. And then I have it's actually a custom Telecaster. I put it together. It's a Highway 1 body with a Warmoth custom neck. And I actually found this little tiny guitar that was called a Decca at a pawn shop.
Mm-hmm.
And it was $30, and it was finished was all checking, no truss rod or anything, but it had a Tiesco gold foil in it. So I popped that out and routed out the neck pickup cavity of this Telecaster, and I popped it in there. So I love the sound of that vintage gold
That's
foil
cool.
in there. So those are the
So it's
cheap.
almost worth buying the guitar just for the pickup.
That's exactly what I did. It was $30, and I got the pickup. And then I've kind of been on a PRS kick lately. I just love the way they play and the flexibility of the coil tapping. But I've got the S2 Vila, which is really cool. It's got the fat humbucker, and then it's got the single coil in the neck. And then I recently picked up an SE, the standard 24. It's just kind of a
Yeah.
it's a basic one, but I really like it. It's actually taken apart right now because something was wired wrong. Where when I tried to coil tap it, it was one or the other. I had humbucker and single, or vice versa, and
Right.
it should be single coil on both of them when you pull
Right.
that coil tap. So
That could be a cool sound though.
it was pretty cool, but I just wanted to get a full single coil sound, and so that's taken apart right now. And if I mess up the soldering because I'm not great at that, then I'll take it to the shop. But
You can just bring it here. I can help you with it.
okay, awesome. I love working. My guitar tech in Charleston would get so annoyed with me because he's like, what did you do? And I was like, I don't know. I like trying to fix stuff, but I'm not great at it. So
Right.
I messed it up. I'm paying you. So, but those are my main electric guitars. And then acoustic, I'm a big fan of Breedlove, so I have 2 Breedloves.
Okay.
And then I have an old Blue Ridge that's my best sounding acoustic guitar. Someone actually enlarged the sound hole, so it's got a giant sound hole. And I was having a lot of feedback problems with it, but yesterday I put a pickup system back in it, and I'm going to try it again. The thing is, you can't put a feedback buster in there because it's a giant sound hole.
It's big, yeah.
But that's like been my main writing guitar for about 5 or 6 years. It's like it's a Martin like D28 copy basically, and it just sounds really full. So
that's cool. What kind of pickup did you put in it?
It's one that I had for a while sitting around. It's the LR Baggs iMix system.
Okay.
So it's got the I-beam microphone underneath, and then it's got the under saddle element pickup, and you can blend between them to get either more of the mic or more of the under saddle pickup.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
That's good.
it's a nice pickup. It's a little older, but I always liked it.
Right. I'm in a dilemma right now. I have a Sigma acoustic I've had pretty much for 25 years.
Yeah.
It was my first real acoustic. I started on like a student, like 3/4 size when I was like 14, and then a year later I bumped up to a Sigma. But like the frets, I've had so many fret dresses on it that it needs new frets, and the pickup systems never really sounded all that great.
Yeah.
So for really about the same money as what I could buy a new acoustic, I could just fix the old one. So that's kind of my dilemma. Is like, do I fix the old one? Do I buy a new one? It's like,
Man,
I
I
don't know.
have that same problem with so many guitars. Like, do I upgrade these pickups or do I, sell the whole thing? I would just say it depends on what you like. I really don't care what's on the headstock as long as you like the way it plays and the way it sounds.
The guitar has always sounded great.
And I had to, with playing like 5 acoustic shows a week for 3 or 4 years, I had to get the first 7 frets on my my main Breedlove redone in stainless steel just because I was wearing them down so much. But
and that's where you play all your chords
exactly
anyway.
Yeah, so I wasn't wearing down the 12th fret or anything. So just save a little money.
Taking an acoustic solo up there.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. But no, I actually really like the Breedloves. They for the price, I feel like they're great and their pickups are good as well.
Okay.
So.
And what models do you have?
The Pursuit.
Come on. You should know this.
Let me see.
Because I was at Guitar Center last fall going into like early spring, right before the pandemic hit. So I got to mess around with a lot of different guitars and whatnot. And I like the Breedloves.
Yeah.
There's like one this guy like swore by. I can't remember the model of it, but I don't know. It's really weird. Like at a certain point, acoustics, I don't want to say they sound the same, but like they're so similar.
Yeah.
Especially in like a certain price range.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't like to spend more than $1,000 on anything. Really.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's like if I can get it in like the 500 range, I mean that's great.
Yeah.
And really, once you get into that range, it's like, all right, well, this one has a little bit more bass. This one's more mid-range heavy.
Yeah.
I
think mine was, my main Breedlove is the Pursuit Concert. Okay. And that's a picture of, mine's not the Koa, but that looks like it's about right. And it has a really nice pickup system. I think it's LR Baggs that's in it. And Breedlove's support was great. My preamp actually went out, and I called them, and 4 days later, they sent me a brand new preamp, no questions asked. So that was really cool.
Yeah, a guy I worked with, I was at Gibson Guitars in the mill room for like 10 years.
Oh wow!
And one of the guys I worked with there he moved to Washington. I think that's where Breedlove is.
Yep, Washington
He's
State.
like the head over Breedlove right now.
That's
not
awesome.
the head over it, but like he's like really up there in like the head over manufacturing or something.
Oh, cool.
He's like probably your age, so
cool.
Really cool. Good gig for him, but yeah, I mean Breedloves are respectable guitar.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like, obviously there's some amazing Martins and Taylors and of course Gibsons out there, but for the price, I think if you spent $800 on a Breedlove, you're gonna get more guitar than if you spent $800 on an entry level,
right,
Martin or something like that,
or Yamaha or
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll have to try some out then.
Yeah.
And what about your amp?
Well, it's funny. I've got some amps just sitting there now since I've switched to the headrush pedal board.
Right.
I love that thing. But so I guess my favorite amp to play through is the Fender Deluxe Reverb, just because it's the 22 watts and it's super clean. I like that a lot. I've also got a 70s Fender Champ, and I've got a Mesa F30 with the 112 closeback extension cab, which is a cool little amp.
Yeah.
You don't see them all the time, but those are just kind of, I'll mess with them when I'm at home, but it's especially on Broadway, it's so fast paced, switching over stages, with different bands. It's just so easy to bring the headrush, set it down, and you have all the amps at your feet.
Right. That's really cool. So usually you just have the headrush going direct, and then they pipe the sound back at you through the floor wedge.
They'll pump it around. I'm usually using ears since I'm a lead singer as well. So I'm usually using. They have a pack and everything for me. So I just bring my earbuds and plug in, and it sounds great. So
So let me get this straight. Each venue has their own wireless setup.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Not everyone. Some of them will have one pack for the lead singer. Some will have two. Some have 5 packs for the whole band. It just kind of depends on which venue you're at.
Wow.
But being the singer, I usually am the one that takes the pack just so I can hear myself better.
Right.
And I don't really need the wedges with that. So it's great to just run direct. You don't have to worry about feedback problems and stage volume being too loud. Mm-hmm. So the sound guy can just handle all that.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So what made you choose a headrush just in general? Not even other digital modelers, but just what was it about digital modeling in the headrush that appealed to you?
So I've been hearing a lot about digital modelers, especially once people started, the Kemper came out and people started using IRs and everything. And everybody remembers those little pod things that look like a kidney.
Oh, yeah.
And they just couldn't quite get the sound. But I was hearing some amazing sounds coming from people that were running direct, including even just the Carl Martin Rock Bug, which is just a little analog thing, I think. And whatever it does, it sounds fantastic. But I think it was when one of my buddies here, he's done some work with Alabama, and he told me that the only sound coming from the stage is the drum set because everybody is running modelers and everybody's running direct into the in-ears. So their sound out front is amazing because they don't have to compete with any stage noise coming out into the crowd. So that
and it's consistent every single night.
It's consistent every night. You save it. You got your presets. You got your set list, whatever, different amp, different song if you want to. And so then I think I tested them out at Guitar Center, and in my price range was between the Helix LT, I think, and the Headrush, and just, man, that touchscreen's so convenient.
It's amazing. I love it.
Yeah. And, I'll still get, someone will get on me and be like, stop fiddling with your pedal board on stage. But, it's so much more intuitive when you do have to fix something to reach down, or you can do the hands-free mode, and all these people that have the Helix, they have to go home and hook up to their computer to do the tweaking, I feel like, so.
Right. Because I have a HX Effects right here in front of me.
Yeah.
And I know it so well. I mean, I can just...
You can do it
pretty
on there,
quick and easy to... You can just tap the button, change something, and just hit save, and you're good. It's pretty... Nice. Pretty quick. So really just digital modeling is there for, convenience factor.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, basically that's what it is. And, sometimes on these Broadway shows, you'll play a double. Somebody will call and be like, hey, Bandit, and show up. Can you... you're playing until 1:45. Can you come over to this place and start at 2:00? And so with the Headrush, I just throw it in a backpack. I pick up my guitar, and everything's there. And some of these other guys are wheeling around. They have the dollies with 50-pound amps and stuff, and I just don't see the point in that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, amps are great for the studio, and even an amp like this. I mean, this is a Blue Guitar Amp 1. Okay. Sorry, podcast listeners, you can't see what we're talking about, but just look at Blue Guitar Amp 1. This is an amplifier. It's got a preamp, power amp, just a regular amp. But some companies have gone to the Strymon Iridium. It's basically an amp in a box. I mean, it is an amp, but it's in pedal form. Quilter makes...
You're talking about the power amp, basically?
Well, I mean, it is an amp.
Oh, okay.
I mean, some people look at this as like, oh, what's your preamp? No, this is an amplifier.
Ah, I got you.
It's got a tube right there in the power section. It's got speaker out.
That's awesome.
Just like a regular amplifier.
Yeah.
So if you want to use an amp, there are options for that.
Yeah.
That can actually fit on your pedal board. I have a HX Stomp right here I got about a month ago that obviously has amp models in it.
Yeah.
So if you had your pedal board, but you still wanted to go direct, that's another great option as well. It's like, because it's pedal size.
That's awesome.
It didn't take up lots of room. And, we're just spoiled.
We are. Hey, man.
Everything we have available today, like I've owned 31 amplifiers over the years.
Yeah.
Not because I needed it, because I just trying different stuff. I'd
swap
have
them
a
out.
Fender, I'd have a Marshall, I'd have a dual rec Mezzo Boogie, orange head with the 4x12 cab, which I lived in an apartment at the time. Why do I need that?
I remember, oh my gosh, it's embarrassing now, but when I was like 16, 17, playing in a hard rock band, I had like a PV, was it like the Bandit 112? But I would sit that on top of this. I thought I needed a 412 cab, so I would sit on top of this Behringer 412 cab that somehow fit in the back of my crappy Oldsmobile. Only if you took the wheels off, I'd slide it in the back seat and everything.
Right, the casters off or whatever.
Man, it was just lugging a lot of stuff around, and you don't got to do that anymore.
Right, yeah. Yeah, so that's what I was saying. I was like in the studio. I have a gig board right here. Most of the projects I produce, I don't use any amps.
Yeah.
Like, the only mics I use is for a vocal and a mic in front of an acoustic guitar, and everything else is like virtual pianos. I got, electronic drum kits or the Superior drummer and the computer.
That's awesome.
All the bass sounds are just from the Headrush amp.
Yeah.
Bass amp and
I'm not a bass player, but I have heard that I haven't messed with the bass amps on there, but I have heard good things about them. Yeah.
Yeah, plug in a bass and it sounds good, you know. So that's what's great about the modeling is like whatever you record with, now you can take the same exact sound to the stage and everything's just consistent,
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially if you're running in-ears.
Yeah.
It's like I see guys trying to figure out, I was like, oh, well, should I get a Headrush 108 speaker or even a 112?
Yeah.
Like a FR kind of setup? Or should I get an amp and use a 4-cable method? Or should I just whatever? It's like, well, one, if you're using in-ears, you're not really going to hear the amp on the stage anyways.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what does it matter?
And I personally, I'm not knocking anybody, but I don't see the point in switching to a digital, modeler and then carrying speakers in because, you'd be carrying an amp in otherwise. And especially, something like we actually use the Cat Audio wireless in-ear systems, and I think they run like $399, and you should buy better earbuds, but I feel like most entry-level in-ears are going to be like that, buy better earbuds. But, for $400, you can have wireless in-ears, and your sound's going to be so much better, especially if you're a vocalist. It's just absolutely changed the way we played instead of trying to crank up on stage and worry about feedback from monitors and everything.
Right. Yeah, I think the silent stage just wins every time.
And you can actually lean over and talk to somebody if you need to say something. You don't have to do the talkback mic and all that.
Right. No, that's really cool. All right, so we got a new year. So what's the goal this year?
The goal right now is to write, and hopefully looking at a publishing deal, get some of our songs out there on the market, play as much as possible. I'm hoping once these venues start opening up, we'll be able to do more of our own shows. Broadway is covers, but we have been able to do a few showcases for our band Saluda Shoals at Alley Tap, specifically downtown. We've done 2 there so far.
Okay.
And that was cool to just even be able to do that during the whole pandemic. But I'm hoping with more venues opening up, there'll be more opportunities for us to play our music out there.
Right.
And yeah, that's it. The reason we moved to Nashville is because networking is key in this industry. So
right.
It's all about saying yes to strange situations and just seeing where they go and who you meet and stuff like that.
Hope it works out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I haven't had anything too weird yet, so that's good.
Yeah, well, that's great. Well, I say just keep doing what you've been doing, and success isn't made overnight. It's got to be you got to be in it for the long run.
Yep.
You're still relatively young, so It's not like you're 50 and trying to do this,
Yeah.
Which I'm sure there are some 50-year-olds out there trying to ride and do stuff. But, I would say you got time on your side to kind of build up your networking, build up your career.
Exactly.
And just be known for making good music, really.
Yep. Nobody ever pretended Nashville would be easy, but we came to Music City to try to further our career and do something different than playing the same bars we had been for the past 3 years or so. So I'm looking forward to what the new year brings.
That's great. So I'd like to thank Henri for coming on the podcast, and I will be sure to leave all his information down in the description and in the show notes of this episode. If you are listening on YouTube, be sure to subscribe and click that bell so you'll be notified the next time we release a new episode. And if you want to make more music here in 2021, then start writing every day just like Henri, and don't let anything get in front of your dreams. So I am Dr. Mcfarland. I will see you in the next episode. Keep rocking.